But yeah, just kicking it off with the Emirates Cup, man. Not a lot of excitement. Not a lot of
No, not at
excitement at
all.
all.
Yeah, I thought it was solid though overall, but it was a lot more tame. But other than that, I mean, dude, it's still they're still trying to find its own like groove and personality. So it's not that surprising that it didn't garner the attention that it needs right now.
Yeah, I mean the matchup did look juicy though because the Bucks they started getting hotter, as the
Yeah,
season progressed, and then of course you got the young guns of the West. This team is looking like one of the more dominant teams, and all of a sudden SGA reigning MVP possibly. I don't know if he could beat out Jokic's stats, but it looked like a juicy matchup. But I feel like the league is missing promoting teams. You know what I mean? Like they promoted Bronny and LeBron, nonstop. But we haven't. What about SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder? But that
yeah.
that normally takes up years of promotion and building up. But there's no build up. It's just like, hey, to the casual NBA audience, it's like, who are these guys?
To casual NBA audience, like, what do you mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yeah, to a casual. I'm talking about casual, just everyday run of the mill. Or I might catch an NBA game once in a blue moon. All of a sudden they
Yeah,
see OKC, in the cup final against Giannis. There's no build up to the league promoting SGA over the years, and also that Oklahoma City team. There's no build up at all. It's just like bam, they're here. And I feel
yeah.
like it's something Adam Silver is really gonna have to figure out because funny thing with David Stern, he would have never stayed promoting LeBron this hard, this long. Too
Yeah.
long promotion of LeBron. And this week, I don't know if you've seen, but hey, it's been going around the media with the NBA ratings. I think it's a little bit overblown, but hey, it's enough noise. It's been a lot of noise about that.
But I feel like it's a storyline that comes. Like, I feel like it's a storyline that runs its toll every year at this point.
Yeah, but some of these numbers that they're tossing out, it's kind of
Yeah, it's
it's kind of
sketchy as shit.
alarming
But
a
I
little
just
bit.
think. Well, let me ask you this: how much you think? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I stream my games through third party means. So how much you think? Like, how much you think that's played a factor?
I don't think that really is what's playing a factor. I think the fact that the games are getting more harder to find. They still haven't perfected League Pass when League Pass was with
Yeah.
TNT. You know what I mean? Like with League Pass, you pay for it, but some of the games are blacked out.
Well, the
Or some
games
of
aren't like locally televised either, so that's also been a problem.
yeah, and then some of the games on ESPN, it's still fractured even when you buy League Pass. You're supposed to have access to every single team, but the
Yeah.
ESPN games are not on there. And it's like, League Pass has its kinks too, but it hasn't been perfect from that standpoint. And then also, if you
Yeah.
if you don't buy League Pass, then the other alternative is to have cable. And we see, the NBA's target audience, they're dropping off of cable. Who still goes home and flickers through channels searching for shit?
Nobody. Channels are
Yeah,
dead. I
yeah.
mean, I think like Dish, Direct, nobody really buys them anymore.
I mean, people have them, but they're not flicking through channels at night. You know what I mean? Like that
No.
thing is. I mean, for their target, which they want probably preteen all the way up into age 50, but especially with the preteen to I would say age 30, they're struggling with that, with their product being tied to cable, and it's just it's a lot of things tied in. But I don't think when them going into their new TV deal, I don't think it's gonna get any better because now you have to have Amazon, you gotta have Peacock, you gotta have ESPN app, you gotta have Fubo, all these fucking apps. Who's really gonna be checking in to all these apps? I feel like next season is
Yeah, that's where the third party streamers come
yeah,
into play.
they're gonna eat really good next season. I'm not gonna lie. Those third party streamers, they're about to be tossing out these links because it's gonna be annoying to find a nationally televised game. Okay, today it's on Peacock, tomorrow it's on ESPN, then it's on this
Well,
app, then it's
aren't
on
the
that app.
NFL on like multiple streaming services?
Say that again.
Aren't the NFL on multiple streaming services?
Yeah, but the NFL is a different product. It's once a week. It actually has a real demand. Remember that they put playoff games behind a paywall and people pay to get
Yeah.
in. So the NFL is a different monster. Like NFL fans travel to go see their teams play. How many
That
NBA
is true.
fans you like? That's not NBA culture. That's NFL culture, and that's international soccer culture. They travel to see their teams. NBA don't have a culture of that. Like I feel like
Not that it's
NBA's
common now.
they've always been missing the fanatics of the sport. Like they don't have like a fanatic fan base like the Pittsburgh Steelers that travel all the way to San Diego. You
Or the
know,
Cowboys.
yeah, or the
Yeah.
Cowboys fans. Like NFL has real fans who, yo, we travel with the whole team all year round. Like you see people that say they've been to every Super Bowl since the 60s. Like the NBA
Yeah.
don't have a crowd of people that say we've been to every final since the 70s. Like you don't hear it. The NBA
Well,
don't
I
have
think
a
there's too
culture of
many
that.
games too, man.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I feel like the marketing is off. The
I
marketing
mean,
is
bro, how
off.
can you like the average person? He's kind of like the NBA is expensive itself, right? Like buying tickets. You're looking at 81 games, and this series itself is like 4 to 7 series. Like I don't see a world where that's gonna be, affordable. Affordable. The NBA has outpriced the common person now.
NFL tickets are just as expensive, but there's the marketing is different. Like it doesn't matter. Think about like for me, the New York Giants, right? They lost
Yeah.
OBJ and they lost Barkley, right? Even though the Giants are
Yeah.
struggling, for the most part, the fans are still Giants fans. They're not so
Yeah.
tied to Odell Beckham Jr. when he left or Saquon Barkley. They're not so tied to them, so they can stick with their team. The NBA, they only promote the individual. So when the individual leaves, hey, what's our identity? Oh, we like LeBron. Oh, so we're Heat fans now. Oh, he's not in
So I
Miami,
think
so we're
also like
Laker
these players are
fans
more
now.
visible in the NBA.
They are, but look how the league is promoted. It's promoted through the
Yeah,
individual. They don't promote the team logos as much. It's really
that is
about
true.
you hear see LeBron and the Lakers versus SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder. They always promote the individual, then the team. I feel like now because the NBA doesn't have those stars anymore, like Kobe and like the mega stars, and it's hard to make mega stars now with social media. I feel like the marketing has to change. They have to, I don't want to say take an NFL style approach, but they're gonna have to more target, they're gonna have to do a lot of brand building with these teams, with the logos.
Yeah,
Yeah, because just in case, like let's say Paul George or Kawhi leaves the Clippers and a Clippers fan only joins them because of that. They, now they could really be Clippers fans because the team's identity is not so tied in to that one star player. Like imagine if Oklahoma City Thunder, their whole identity was locked into Russell Westbrook and his tenacity and his triple doubles. The minute that he leaves, what's Oklahoma City Thunder after that? You know what I mean? Like I
they're
feel like,
nothing. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the way the NBA has been marketing itself throughout the years. But it worked because with Michael Jordan or Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, it worked because back then there was no internet like that, and superstars really had to go through the television screen. Now, because there's so much options and social media, and anyone really could go viral and become a megastar. Look at Hawk Tuah girl. You couldn't do that when Jordan was playing. You couldn't just invent a Hawk Tuah girl and everyone knows who she is in one day.
Yeah.
So I feel like now you see the NFL style. The NFL is the only one that's surviving through all these changes in media. If you notice, the NFL, they stay promoting the Shield and the teams. And today, they're promoting the Shield, the NFL logo, and the teams. And they're still thriving. But the NBA, they're still stuck in the, let's promote the mega star guy. And you see these guys, they keep calling them stars, but they don't win. You know what I'm saying? And that's another problem with the NBA. They're promoting a lot of guys as stars, but we're not seeing no championships. And
No, a lot
yeah,
of them we
people
haven't even
forget it.
seen
That,
them
that
like
that's
an
part of
all
the
NBA
brand
team.
building. That's part of the brand building. Winning is part of it.
Yeah, of course.
And if these guys are not winning, you need to promote the team. You need to promote the team. And there's very few teams in the NBA where they're not so tied into a superstar. If LeBron leaves the Lakers, Laker fans are still going to be Lakers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the Miami Heat. He left Miami, they didn't miss a beat. They're still South Beach. But he left Cleveland. Oh, that was something different because They don't know how to market Cleveland Cavaliers. They really marketed LeBron. So
Yeah.
that's why when he left, it was so devastating. But that type of marketing today, I don't know. Going into the future, I don't know if it could work for the NBA. I don't think they have enough mega stars who can dominate the league. They just don't have it. They have guys, they have teams that are really good, and every single year the league is going to be like the NFL. A team could be, finish one season the 11th seed, and next year they could be the 3rd seed. They're going to have to get into that. Hey, we need to promote the league as an overall competitive product, night in, night out. Like, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, do you think the league has enough stars today to keep promoting the individual?
Mm, no, I think I agree with you, man. I think promoting bro, if you promote the team by extension, your players will be promoted to another upper echelon. If you keep promoting the player, like, it doesn't really do much for the brand because I think now, like you brought up Larry Bird and these guys, there's a lot less player mobility back then. So you could maybe make the face of the organization, Larry Bird or Kobe,
Or
Jordan,
Jordan or
whatever, because they
Shaq?
weren't moving around that much. But now you see players, they move around a lot.
They move
So
around.
like if you,
They move around.
yeah,
My bad. I just want to say this. They move around a lot, and then the word star, like superstar,
it's too liberally thrown.
yeah, and it's too thrown around. It's too easy to make nowadays. I'm not saying everyone's gonna be a mega star, but people go viral, and just the hot tour girl is a prime example. When you got a hot tour girl even existing in the ecosystem, man, you gotta
Yeah,
you gotta change your marketing, man. You gotta change the NBA gotta change the marketing. You gotta promote the logo, man. It's gonna be harder for them to promote an individual versus a team logo in today's climate. Much harder.
I
But
agree.
but yeah, what were you saying? You were saying something earlier. That was really good.
I'll say like, bro, you have like I think when you promote the player, right? When you promote the player, you don't leave much like flexibility for the organization and the player because now the whole team has to. I mean, the whole team, regardless, revolves around the player, but now you kind of have to invest way too much, overly too much into one specific player, in the hopes of he stays or you make a buck off of attendance and advertisement. And it shouldn't be. Despite even if the team is like the 11th seed, and it's not good for the organization. It's not good for the league.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot, man, because even with the Emirates Cup, the way the NBA promotes itself, the Emirates Cup can only work if you have stars in it. And
Yeah,
I seen last year they were trying to promote Tyrese Halliburton because he came up under that Emirates Cup, but it didn't really translate. Even then, even when it was something brand new, there's not enough time for fans to say, "Oh, we could book a week to travel to Vegas to go watch our favorite NBA team." It's just like everything is so last minute. It's like, hey, the cup is here. There's not that many in between days. There's not that much media in between the game, and it's like the game just happens. The day before the championship, there were NBA games.
yeah, bro.
So
My
it's like,
thing
how
is,
important is the Emirates Cup? It's not like they can't actually put a spotlight on the game.
no, bro. My thing is, but I've noticed something like younger teams, like rebuilding teams, you see more of a personality outside of their franchise players. Like I was watching the Orlando Magic and the Bucks, right, the playing team. Franz Wagner, Bencher are out, but you still see like guys like Jet Howard, guys like Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, Goga, like they were still able to play at a high level. So I do think like the league is slowly but surely pivoting out of this whole idea of like main two-star players, and if those two guys are out, then it's all doom and gloom. But I think it is slowly becoming about organization first,
Yeah, it has to be in this era. It has to be
and I think
because
Oklahoma's another prime example of that. Because
hmm
look how deep Oklahoma is.
and they have an MVP candidate.
Yeah, you have an MVP candidate. You have two potential future All Stars, Jalen J Dub and Chet Holmgren. You have good role players, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dortz, Hartenstein. So they have invested a lot in building like an overall organization over there.
Yeah, but the NBA, they're gonna have to adapt, and they're gonna have to check ESPN the way they're promoting the league. They have an issue. They don't know it, or they might, but they're gonna have to check ESPN because ESPN has a very toxic way they promote the game. It's a very, oh, they need a superstar, and then that's the answer for everything. And then it's also, oh, he needs to go to a big market. They need to get off of that because their NFL coverage is completely different. They'll talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, and they'll say, oh, let's say that team is a competitive team, even though they're a small market. You'll never hear from another analyst saying, oh, that quarterback needs to go to a big market. You'll never hear that.
You don't hear about that, like, for example, Lamar Jackson. He plays for fucking Baltimore.
Exactly.
Like, you know?
But
like,
if
you don't hear, like, Lamar
if
needs to go to the Giants.
yeah,
Lamar needs to go to, you know?
if the
Lamar
shoe
needs
was on
to
the
go to
other
the
foot,
Rams.
if the
Yeah.
shoe was on the other foot, if it was the NBA people covering that, they would be like, oh, he needs to go to New York. Like, they need to cut that, man, because it's actually hurting. It's you actually they're low key telling the audience, especially Stephen A. Smith. He's low key telling the audience
Your
these
team doesn't
small
matter.
teams don't matter. Yeah,
Because it cheapens it. Like, that's why I always get annoyed with, like, people always entertain the thoughts of, like, Giannis leaving. Like, in my mind, like, I'm at that point where I'm like, dog, Giannis has no real reason to actually leave Milwaukee. Because, like, he's achieved everything there. He's going to end up getting a statue, jersey retirement. Like, he's a legend. He's achieved every statistical achievement in Milwaukee. Defensive player, MIP, MVP, championship. So it's not much of a drive for him to leave, as people try to promote. But I guess for whatever reason, because he plays in Milwaukee, people are insistent on the idea of Giannis leaving, which I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's lazy.
yeah. But what do you think? You think the league should extend the season by another month? Like have the same amount of games, just add another month.
What good will it do?
It would actually leave more breathing room for like the Emirates Cup and the All-Star break could really be like a whole 2-week event.
Bro, I don't know. People don't care about the All-Star game anymore.
Yeah, but those are all. But again, those are things that the league is gonna have to work to build back up. They're gonna have to do a lot of brand building with a lot of these things, and then that older generation that just came in and was, oh, we're load managing, and when that was acceptable, they're gonna have to phase out that that era. They're really gonna have to phase that out. It's not good for business.
The concept of load management, it came from like the San Antonio Spurs. You remember when like they were, and even them, it was a lot of older players that were getting benched, like Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker, and it made sense for the time being. But I'm seeing like a lot of young guys get load management, and I'm just scratching my head to why.
Yeah, I think I know why. I think I know why. I think the owners have something to do with it.
I mean, of course, you want to protect your investment. So if your team's playing like the Charlotte Hornets, the last thing you want is him to tear an ACL.
Exactly, but I think that same protection hurts them because now this player is almost like a cold engine. It's almost like trying to start a cold engine. You're resting them a little bit too long.
Yeah, when playoff comes around, then they're shocked to why they suck.
Yeah, look at Bradley Beal. Can never be healthy. The preseason is shorter. The training camps are shorter. Got a lot of stars are not even really participating in the training camps like that. This is completely different, man. Like even Joel Embiid, for him to miss all of training camp, to miss preseason, and to say I'm not playing back to backs, it's like, bro, when you gonna rev up? When are you gonna rev up? Because we talked about this the last episode. Remember how we said there's barely any practice time because of the new scheduling. Game day off, game day off. When is Embiid gonna rev up? When is he gonna find time to do that during the season? I feel like what a lot of the NBA audience hasn't realized, there's really not a lot of time for players who miss that amount of time early on in the season to actually get back in shape and to rev up. It's actually harder in today's NBA to do that. So it's a lot harder. I mean, we had this little break in between the Emirates Cup. Now teams are gonna be game day off, game day off, game day off. They might have to wait a few weeks to have 2 days off in a row.
Because it takes forever to get the rhythm,
Yeah. And it's like when a guy's gonna find time like Embiid to get his conditioning up.
Yeah. Because now the games is gonna be a lot more slowed down. when you're in the playoffs. Like, this is what it is.
Did you hear Iman bring up something about LeBron James, how he ruined the league today?
Iman Shumpert?
Yeah. Iman Shumpert thinks LeBron ruined the way the league is. Let's take a listen right here.
I got crucified for this question already. Has Steph ruined the game? Because I also was asked this, and I said the person that ruined all of this was Bron, because I felt like Bron's stance, and it's like Mike. If Mike would have made it okay for y'all to just be like, yeah, I'm leaving this team and I'm going to another, because I don't like what the owners are saying. If Mike would have did that, there would have been no loyalty, because we all, quote unquote, wanted to be like Mike, right? And I felt like, even though Steph was good, I felt like Bron was the guy that did it, because I feel like when Bron made it okay for people to team up, it stopped making the star player have to come back with something added to their game.
Do you agree with Iman? Because I'm going to have to shoot LeBron a little bit of bail, because I think the older players, what they never admit is that if they had the decision to actually have mobility, most of them would have left too. But what do you think?
100%. No, yeah. Back then, like, contracts were more locked in, no? Like 6 years, 8 years. So they made sure that it reaches all the way to their prime. And when they wanted to trade them, they could, they'd be on the decline anyways. Now you're seeing shorter contracts, bigger money.
Yeah, the NBA actually went through, I think it was 7 years of litigation for players to actually have free agency. A player sued the league. It was like 7 years of going back and forth, I think, throughout the 80s to actually have free agency. Or more autonomy over free agency. It was very restricted back then. But I don't think LeBron really ruined the league with that, because when you think about it, after he did that, every other star kind of followed suit. So if it was such a bad idea, the other guys would have never did the same thing.
You wouldn't have Kevin Durant doing the same thing. You wouldn't have a lot of these guys doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I think Shaq might have been trying to elude the 3-point shot. Because in the, I would say, the older players, the old timers, or whatever you want to call them, the vets,
yeah,
the older legends, I should say, they kind of view it as everyone is playing in the same style, and that's one of the things that's kind of also hurting the league right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any creativity in the NBA. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, there's not a man. I wish I had the soundbite of this dude talking about Daryl Morey. There was an ESPN analyst talking about Daryl Morey, and he asked him, like, don't you think the analytics is it's unwatchable? And then he said Daryl Morey told him that's the NBA job to market the game. It's not his business.
Well,
so
Morey played a key role in the NBA kind of like becoming quote unquote unwatchable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just wasn't him. It was just like the influx of the analytics crowd.
But he was the biggest push of the analytics.
Yeah, he wasn't the biggest push of it, but he was like, it's almost like all the analytics guys, they kind of raise Daryl Morey as their proof of concept. They try to push him to the tippy top to say, hey, look, he was successful. He was at the top of the West for like at least a 4, 5 to 6 year run.
Yeah, but Morey is the one that pushed it the most. Like, the amount of pushback, like, he doubled down on it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that shit never worked. His whole team, when the Rockets have blew up, when I say every single player, every single fucking player complained about their play style. From Austin Rivers to James Harden, PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza. Yo, when I say the whole team, the whole team had quotes in their exit meetings. Like, everything was on for public display. I was like, damn, everybody shitted. And then what's his name? Mike D'Antoni actually resigned from the team.
Yeah, he resigned, and then he went on to be an assistant coach.
Yeah, like it said a lot. Like, it wasn't really Mike D'Antoni's style of basketball. And people think that he did the analytics, but he really just kind of revolutionized the offense a little bit. He used every single aspect of the offense. Say that again?
The analytics was introduced in Houston the moment Harden was traded to Houston.
Man, I could have swore it was a little bit before that. I felt like the 76ers they weren't using it on the court, but they were using it in their philosophy with the trust the process.
And James Harden, I mean, Daryl Morey's James Harden trade was before the 76ers started the rebuild. Because we're looking at what, 2012 or 2011 or Harden? No, 2012. I believe that's when James got traded to Houston.
You're right. You might be right about that. I really
Yeah.
don't know when it came in. All I know, it went to full effect after the Warriors won that first championship. But
Morey always been insistent on making analytics work, like throughout his term in Houston, like from the start, because he was there for like at least a decade.
But it's funny because the Warriors, they didn't really use analytics like that. It was part of their concept, but they had championship pedigree. They had Steve Kerr, and they had who mostly kind of designed the team. What's his name? The Lakers legend.
Jerry West,
Jerry West. Yeah,
Bob Myers, yeah.
Jerry West. So they had Jerry West is responsible for Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? Because they were gonna trade him.
And he was responsible for a lot of analytics friendly players. You look at Draymond Green; he's a big analytics friendly player.
Yeah, but the Warriors, they just had the on-court championship pedigree that team was built on. It's way beyond analytics. When you have Jerry West having the eye test, understanding like we need Klay Thompson, because I think he told the Warriors he was gonna leave if they traded him, and he was like he needs to be on the team.
There's one that Kevin. But I agree. Look, like when you look at Daryl Morey, how he viewed the Houston Rockets was through pen and paper. Like who shoots the most threes, what percentage, at which corner. That's why he viewed the Houston Rockets, and that's why Houston Rockets made bigger than life, like big signings of like average role players like Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon, because they fitted the analytics, like the analytics stronghold, along with James Harden. Like James Harden became more of a playmaker through the analytics because Daryl Morey believed in maximizing the threes and the drive-in baskets, which, along with James Harden's passing abilities, made the analytics look a lot better. But even Harden, he benefited a lot from the analytics basketball that he wanted.
And he benefited a lot, but it seemed like that was kind of his style too.
Yeah. And then you saw a lot of frustration from like Dwight Howard and like his lack of his lack of getting the ball in the post, because Morey did not believe in that. Morey believed in, like, obviously, like James Harden going to the basket or shooting his three. He didn't believe in, like, wasting the offensive, time clock just so Dwight Howard can set up a post hook shot. And you saw that because like, besides Joel Embiid in recent memories, he was never keen on getting like a dominating offensive center. Like even Clint Capella, he was a lob threat, which worked out well for him because he didn't really demand the ball all that much.
Yeah. And also they got Gordon. They got who else was a 3-point shooter for them?
Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, Ryan Anderson, and then they got another one that kind of Eddie House? No, he wasn't part of it.
No.
No, there was someone else. There was another shooter.
Trevor Ariza.
And another shooter. He was
PJ Tucker.
Nah, he played for them even in the bubble. I think he got kicked out of the bubble. What's his name? That guy.
No, I know. Daniel House.
Yeah, they even had him shooting threes.
Lakuma Bonamute before he got injured.
Yeah, they just needed like a couple 3-point shots from other guys.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.